Hello, farmers, and welcome to the harvest season. My name is Al,
And I'm Micah,
and we're here today to talk about farming games. Woo!
the best,
The farmiest of games.
the farmiest of games, the cream of the crop.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I talk about all like good and bad games.
That's true. Good point.
However,
The crop, just the crop,
yeah, just all of it.
the whole thing.
The wheat and the chaff.
Yeah.
Well, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of farming games because it has been, I think, 5 weeks since last recording with news. So we've got 5 weeks of news to cover to catch up on. So I hope you're ready, Micah.
Oh, I'm ready. I said before we started the show that to Al that usually when we record, I look at the show notes and I open all the links ahead of time so that I can click through them. But this time I got halfway through and I couldn't read what the tabs were anymore because there's so much news. So I'm just going to click them one at a time as we go.
It's fine. I pull out the gaps in talking anyway, so it's not like it's going to increase the time. But yeah, we literally have 3.5 pages of show notes for this episode.
It's incredible.
Insane. See what happens when I take a month off. Goodness me, I shouldn't do that. So that's basically all we're doing. There's not going to be a kind of meatier topic this episode because there's just so much news. So strap in. I hope you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Well, before that, Micah, what have you been playing?
So I have been on like a rampage with my backlog, I guess.
Rampage.
I've been like working through. I've become really dedicated to, like finishing up things that I've started and like trying to take care of like long-term games that I've like put off for a long time. So I recently finished Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Ah, nice.
Which is fantastic. Very good game.
Good.
And I was tempted a couple times to take a break and put it down, but I kind of like pushed through those dry spots. Everybody who plays JRPGs knows that there's like dry spots in JRPGs where you got to kind of like grind a little bit and it gets a little bit boring, but once you like push past that and get to the next story beat, then it's like, oh, I'm back in it. I'm feeling it again.
Yeah.
So I just made myself, instead of like my habit of I'm going to put it down, play something else, and then come back to it later, I just pushed through it, and I'm happy I did because it was great. And
cool.
It's completed now. I also completed a couple Picross games that I had on my roster.
Yes.
The Hatsune Miku Picross game. It's not Picross officially. It's a logic puzzle S or something.
Right. Yeah,
And
I feel
then
like we had a
Sega
discussion about this last time, that there is a generic name for these, but I can't remember what we actually settled on.
Nonogram?
Oh, nonograms, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Picross official, Jupiter brand Picross, they had a collaboration with Sega.
Yes, I saw that.
And that's like pretty recent, so I completed that recently as well.
Cool.
And
How did they rank
finishing up? The Sega Picross was pretty good. It's a little bit like just very slightly lacking as far as some of the content goes, but
right.
I mean I almost feel like that's better. I think the Miku Picross or Logic Puzzle, whatever, was very good. If this is weird because I was talking to Becky about this and I said that it was way too long and there was almost too much content. And she said, but doesn't that just mean more puzzles? And I said, yeah. And she said, wouldn't that be a good thing? And I said, normally, yes. But like you kind of want, at least I do, I kind of want like an end point so that I can like mark it off my list and say like rather than it being just like a never ending goal.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like a finish line. So while the Miku Picross is very much good bang for your buck, it's very long
Hmm.
and kind of drawn out. I still like kind of the pacing and content that comes with the like Jupiter official
Yeah.
Picross games, and the Sega one is good, just maybe a little bit less content than you would get with like an S series.
So what you're saying is one's too short and one's too long.
I mean, it's really just like I think the content that it's missing from the S games is they have these things called clip Picross, where
Or are they
when
the big
you
the big
complete-
ones you're building up on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you complete a puzzle, then or you complete like a line of 5 puzzles, then you unlock a piece that is a puzzle in itself, but you are making a bigger picture out of smaller
Right.
puzzles. And I like those a lot.
Yeah.
And usually the Picross S has like 5 of those,
Right.
and the Sega Collab only has 3. So there's like, each one is a good amount of puzzles. So you're kind of missing out on a few, but
Yeah.
otherwise it's still good. And it's neat because each clip Picross is like box art for Sega games, or like
Right.
title screens for Sega games.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're a fan of retro games, it's neat in that respect.
I forget. Have you been on since the Atui did was it Pick Tui? That was.
Oh yeah, I don't think that I have been.
I know we've talked about it
Um,
on Twitter, but I don't think you've mentioned it on the podcast. So
No, I completed that as well. I actually was on vacation, traveling across the states to visit my parents for the first time in a long time.
nice.
And it came out like the day that we left, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect,
Amazing.
perfect, content for
Yeah.
for a long drive." And so I, over the course of that trip, I pretty much completed all of it. It was I just had a little bit left when we got back to complete. There were some weird glitchy things with it. There were some like features that I was not super impressed with. It was missing kind of like some key features that I guess you would say are like, it's kind of like it's a Picross thing, like there's still
Yeah.
nonogram puzzles, but there's like features that Picross has added that have become kind of like a staple.
Yeah.
And those are missing, so that's a little bit disappointing, but they're still monograms, so it's still fun. When you get into towards the end of it, you get to the bigger 20 by 15, or I think they even did 20 by 20 nonogram puzzles. It starts to get glitchy where it like doesn't tell you what line you're in right away until you do something.
Oh, it's like it's slowing
and-
down or something.
Yeah, it's like it's lagging.
Interesting.
And then I finished it, but there was some glitch where it didn't mark the game as completed.
Oh no.
So
That's
I'm
the
sitting
worst.
at 99. I think it's instead of like percentage completion, it's like by level, and I think level 100 is completion. And I'm at level 99. And I actually reached out to them on Twitter, and I sent them a screenshot, and I said, "Is this right? Am I missing something? Because I feel like I should have completed it, but it says I haven't." And they said, "No, that's not right. Something's wrong there." And then I just never heard from them again after that. So it's kind of sitting there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of
So that's the Atui, I think it's Pictui it's called.
Pig Tui, yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of Picross content in one podcast.
There you go. That's Micah's Picross.
Podcast.
It's too late
Picross.
for me to think of P words. Picross Place. That's Micah's Picross Park.
That works.
There you go. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So what have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
Not Picross, I take it.
No, I've not been playing any Picross recently. I keep thinking I need to get back into some because I've got a couple of the S series ones on my Switch and I just haven't finished them. So I'm really intrigued with the Sega one, but I got to convince myself to finish the others before I buy a new one, right? Like, come on,
Right.
That's always a problem. So what have I been playing? So I've been playing Pokemon Unite quite a bit.
Oh, sure.
And other than that, not a huge amount. I kind of had a bit of a break over the last couple of weeks. I've been I've been replaying. No, I've been playing all the Zelda games from first to the last, and that's going quite
Oh,
well.
nice.
But I took a little bit of break because I wanted to plan some stuff for podcasts. So I'm 4 in, done the first 4, and then gonna keep going with that. So that's going well. It's quite interesting to see the kind of progression from the first through.
First 4 meaning Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, and then Link's Awakening?
Correct.
Okay.
I'd already played Link's Awakening on the Switch, but I was playing the DX version, the Game Boy one.
Okay.
And it was interesting to see the differences. Definitely prefer the Switch one. The Switch one is a very good kind of remake. But there's I
agree.
A lot of the old version that is just a little bit painful. Like, so many of the kind of core parts of it are items, and you, of course, because the Game Boy only had basically like 2 buttons to do anything with, it meant that you had like 6 or 7 different things that you're using on a regular basis for 2 buttons.
Yes.
So you had to keep switching between it, and that was really annoying. So it's like, if you want to...
old Harvest Moon on...
Yeah.
Like even Friends in Mineral Town on the Game Boy Advance, because you only had... I mean, you had shoulder buttons, but you really had it just like A and B.
Yeah.
I mean, that was rough too.
But I mean, the problem especially with... The problem especially with Zelda games is that they're kind of quite time constrained, right? Like, I need to defeat this enemy now, but I need to pause and switch my weapon, switch what I've got in, and then go back and do that. And it was just a little bit painful, but we got there. It made me appreciate the newer one a lot more. But I felt like I wanted to do the old one just to see kind of the progression of the games.
Sure.
Link to the Past was very good. I'm surprised how good Link to the Past is, because it feels like a kind of Game Boy Advance style game, like, kind of early 2000s. It's 1992. It's a really old game. It does not feel early 90s. It's very good for, like, it must have been shockingly good for its time. Like, there's nothing else that old that's that good a game.
It is one of my favorite. I have like a, it's hard to pick when you have like a favorite, like a series that you really like, to pick a favorite, but it's very easily in my like top 3 Zelda games.
Yeah.
It was the first Zelda that I ever played, and it has always had like it was so mind-blowing at the time.
Yeah.
Playing it that I mean it's and it still is. It's still very, very good.
I think the thing that shocked me is it didn't feel painful to play. Like, all of the other games from that sort of period, like basically the entirety of the 90s, feel really painful now because of all the quality of life enhancements we've had since then. I did not feel like it was missing stuff.
Right.
Which was especially then glaring to go straight from Link to the Past to Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, because, oh boy, that was quite a... It felt like it was an older game.
Right.
That's the problem, I guess, with having home console and portable games in the same franchise, is you feel like you're stepping backwards when you're going handheld at that time.
And, at that time, too, it was pretty... I mean, it's still pretty shocking, because it was like anything on the Game Boy, I remember being just like absolutely blown away by, because it was like, I can play this in my... I don't need to have it plugged into the wall or a TV or anything. It's incredible.
Whereas we've come a long way since that.
Right.
But yeah, like, even going back to like the old Pokemon
of
games is painful. Never mind one of these games.
And it's still kind of, we still kind of have that a little bit. It's like interesting because, we take a hit as far as like graphics and stuff goes for the Switch, but it's portable, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So, to some degree, we're still kind of living that life, but.
Well, this is the thing, right? Nowadays, the only real difference between home console, TV consoles and portable consoles is just the power, right? Like, there's nothing fundamentally different between the PS5 and the Switch. It's just the PS5 is more powerful, so it can do better graphics. Like, that's it. There's no, like... Whereas the problem with these was, like, the whole fundamental thought process around it was different. You don't design games like that anymore. I mean, you might do it
Right.
in kind of small things like, oh, you can do this in a slightly different way because it's on a big screen as opposed to a small screen or something like that. But fundamentally,
Sure.
the same thing now. There's not really a difference.
Right. Yeah, and really it just comes down to like can a game play on can a game be scaled up or down enough
Exactly.
to play on both of these consoles
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you know,
Like, oh
all
no,
of
I
these
have to play
consoles or whatever.
I have to play my game at 720p. How hard is my life? You know, it's not,
Yeah. Right.
there's nothing else you really have to consider with that.
Yeah.
Whereas back then it was a completely fundamental difference.
Yeah, definitely. And now with the Steam Deck or whatever, I mean,
Oh,
I
I
guess
know.
we'll see how that goes, but I feel like that's, you know, obviously the Switch kind of paved the way for that, I think,
Mm.
but it's going to be interesting seeing how much that line
Yeah.
blurs.
I think it can only improve things. I mean, it might make no difference, but I don't think it'll make things worse, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So yeah, I think that's probably about it. I played a bit of BB and Tina, as
Oh boy.
we'll mention that near the end of the podcast, but nowhere near. I didn't play as much as I had hoped, but we'll give you another hint about that at the end of the podcast.
I will tell you, there's not much. That's all I'll say.
So what you're saying is the kind of hour I've played is probably all I need to play.
Probably. I think it took me maybe like 2 hours to thing.
Good fun. Yeah, I think that's about what we've been playing. Shall we go through this humongous list of news?
Let's do it.
First of all, Garden Story. It's out. That was sudden.
That was very surprising.
Yeah.
I had to like I thought I was having like a fever dream or something because I could have sworn that like there was no release date and that that was the announcement of the release date that it was that day.
That was it. So it was and I was even more confused because did you watch the Nintendo Indie Showcase?
I did, yeah.
So you would have seen that, right? I didn't watch that at the time because I was busy, and I came on like 3 hours later, and I was like, "Wait, what? Garden Story's out? What? How did that happen?
Yeah.
When?" And then I was like, "Oh, it was in the Indie Showcase. Okay." And then watched it and went, "Okay, right, fine. I now understand." But I was so confused. I was like, "Where did I miss something? Did I miss an announcement?"
That's pretty much exactly how it went for me too. I saw it because I opened the eShop first.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
And I saw Indie Showcase was like one of the eShop like banners or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was one." So I went and watched it. And that was like one of the first pieces of news on the Indie Showcase too.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, was that Garden Story was out. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
So sudden.
Yeah. So there we go. You can play as a grape now. Hope you're happy.
I'm so excited. It's sitting on my my main menu, my home screen, and I haven't touched it yet because I'm trying to finish things.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things I need to organize over the next couple of weeks, but then I am diving. I promise listeners we will have a podcast on Garden Story.
Yes.
I'm not promising when it will be, but we will have one this year. I'll make that this year, but I'm not doing it next episode because can't just suddenly do it.
Yeah, we gotta get some time with it too, anyways, right?
Exactly. So that will be happening.
I'm very excited to play it as a small grape.
I mean, I can't get over how just nice this game looks.
Yes, I agree.
In so many ways.
And it's all like cute fruit and there's the frog. I've been like really into reptiles and amphibians in the last few years, but I've been really obsessed with frogs lately. I don't know what it is. I think maybe I'm just like seeing them more.
Right.
And it's I'm seeing more like cute frog content on my social media apps. And so every time I see a frog now, I'm like, I love it.
You got to be careful. People will start giving you frog presents.
I'm okay with that.
It's fine to start with, and then when in 10 years' time they're still doing it, you'll be like, it was a joke once, right? Like, Anyway, it's out now on PC and Switch. They mentioned it was a console exclusive. That implies that it's coming to other consoles later, but they haven't said anything about that. But you know that thing where they go, it's launching as a console exclusive on Nintendo Switch. That implies that it might come to others, but who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah, I think they call it timed exclusive.
Oh, right. Did they not? Oh, I lose track. Anyway, it's on the console that we actually care about playing farming games on, right? So,
Right.
sorry to you PlayStation and Xbox players.
Yeah,
Sorry, not sorry.
It's my preferred console for pretty much everything, so
Yeah.
I ain't complaining.
Next, we have a new game being announced by Chibig, who are the ones who made Summer in Mara and Deiland. Ankora, Lost Days. That's exciting.
Yeah.
This is coming to Kickstarter on the 7th of September, so you got time to plan. In fact, not only is that good that it's coming on the 7th of September, it means you won't have to pay until October, so consider that.
And it is starring Moon?
Yeah, is it
Who
Moon? Yeah, I was always thinking
I
Mun,
think
but maybe Moon makes more sense.
I think it's pronounced Moon. I don't know
We'll go with Moon.
We don't have many symbols in our alphabet in America.
No, we'll go with Moon. But
okay.
yeah, so Moon was in both of Summer and Mara and Deiland.
Yes, yeah.
And so this
is
as
like NPC.
Yeah, yes. In Deiland, they come and help you with things, give you quests to do, and teach you how to do things. And then in Summer and Mara, I think they're just on the beach and they ask you to do one or two things, but it's fun having the different characters across multiple games.
Right.
But yeah, in this one you're playing as Moon, which is exciting. So it looks like it's a grid-based game. We've not had a huge amount of footage, but there's been a little bit.
It's like well, they say it's survival adventure.
Yes.
With terraforming or crafting and terraforming.
Yeah.
So the terraforming, I guess, kind of feels like maybe it's grid based, and it kind of gives you like, it's hard not to draw a comparison to like Minecraft because it's like cubes of land on a grid, but it doesn't look like it's it looks like maybe it's different areas that are like maps. Like
yes.
Small
you probably travel between
maps.
them because that's kind of Moon's thing, right? Is traveling.
Right.
So it's more kind of based around the exploration rather than I presume you don't have like a home base, or if you do, it's not very big and it's something you don't come back to a huge amount. They've said there is farming in it. I specifically asked that. There is farming in it, but nowhere near as much as the previous two games, which were much more focused around farming. But there's enough there to count it. I'm counting it.
I see their reply to you. They said you won't have a farm of your own.
Yeah. So that sounds like there's not a home base specifically, which makes sense if Moon's kind of a traveler, like their base is their ship. Although, interestingly, looking at the kind of cover art for it, it looks like the ship has crashed. So presumably you are trying to fix your ship and that's what you're doing. So I'm guessing like each of the tile, you're walking between the tiles then. And if you're farming kind of on your way, maybe the farming is like you come across plants and you pick them rather than you planting them. I don't know. It looks good. I'm excited.
There's a little snippet of an anime because they did for Summer and Mara, and I don't know if they did for Deiland, but they did an animated short.
Yes.
To like advertise it kind of. And the Kickstarter isn't live yet, but I'm assuming that will be in the Kickstarter. There's like a little snippet of it in this thread about Ankora, and there's a little a short animation of Moon crashing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's what it was, but then when I looked at the top image, the ship looks much more crashed there. I thought that was just landing, but no, it's definitely
like
crashing.
Yeah. There's also a timeline for the what they called the Chibig verse.
Yeah,
since all these games are part of the same universe,
of course.
And
so this is the
an
earliest
entry
one
with question marks. So
Yeah, so there is another game
teasing more.
coming, which will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it also confirms that this game is set before Summer in Mara,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously way before Deiland. Deiland is after Summer in Mara. Yeah. Are you going to get stories in Mara? We've discussed it on the podcast before, but is that something
Yeah.
you're going to get?
Yeah, I'm a fan of everything that they've done so far.
Yeah.
I really liked Summer and Mara. I really liked Deiland. Deiland was very like cute and nice and compact.
Yeah.
Uh, and very like straightforward, like kind of linear and like comforting way, not like a let me loose kind of way, just like a
Yeah.
like a nice way. So I like everything that they do. I'm not like a super huge fan of like survival adventure, but like this looks neat enough that it seems like something I'll enjoy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, hide in a cave and wait for zombies to run away sort of thing.
Right.
It looks like the survival aspect is basically just eating and, fighting
Yeah.
on your way.
It's not
Which,
Rust.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll
Yeah,
keep it.
me too.
We'll keep looking at it. Speaking of Deiland, the newer version of Deiland Pocket Planet, is also coming to Steam. They did release the original version of Deiland on Steam, and I can't remember what the differences are between the two games, but there's differences. Um, if you own the original version of Deiland on Steam, they have a Google form for you to go and put in your details, and you can get the new version for free, which is nice. But yeah, there we
That's
go.
great.
It's all good.
I love that.
Yeah. And the last piece of news in the Chibig verse is that there are doing a physical version of Summer in Mara, which I will not buy. I will not buy. I will not buy. I don't need it. It's coming to Switch and PS4 at the end of this year.
And there's also a special collector's edition, apparently.
Yeah, they kind of hinted at that. They've not given
Right.
any real information. But yeah, they
I'm
said, what would you like to see in a special collector's edition? So that definitely.
sure. I may be curious to see if it's maybe like a lot of the same physical content that came with, like the certain Kickstarter tiers. Because I'm sure they've
Possibly.
got like a lot of that left too, like stickers and postcards
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And they did that plush too. I didn't back at the level where I was able to get the plush, but they did the plush of I can't remember. Yes. I also will not be getting this. And by that I mean I'm probably going to wind up getting it.
I will see what it is when it I won't just get the normal physical version. I might get the collector's edition, but it depends on
Right.
it will have to be good. It'll have to be
Yes. Yeah, it's so hard, especially now. It's so hard to like justify double dipping on games, but
good. I know. But
I
at least
really want to support them.
at least it's indie ones, right? You're not,
Right. Yeah.
double dipping on massive corporations. It's, small indie where, a few people buying a collector's edition could theoretically be the difference between them going bust and another game coming out.
Right.
So, if you like what they're doing and you can afford it and you want it, then I don't think you should feel bad about that.
Yeah. I'm curious how they're going to distribute it, if it's going to be through like normal retail channels or if it's going to go through like limited run games. I know limited run does like a lot of.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going through a company called Tessura Games.
I think that's just the distributor or the like publisher. It says publisher and distributor.
Yeah, it says distributor as well. So I don't know. They look to be is it Spanish or is Cheapy Are they Spanish, I think? It looks like it's Spanish.
Are they? Yes.
It looks to be Spanish.
I remember that because my very touchy bank got flagged the Kickstarter because it was a charge from Spain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to call them and say, no, it's okay. I made that purchase.
It looks like they have done other stuff, other physical ones. So I think it is I think they do that. That doesn't mean it may well be available through retailers, but they're certainly the ones that are organizing the physical version.
Right.
We'll see what comes. Looks like they
It
have
looks like they
a.
did Streets of Rage 4 distribution.
Oh yeah, interesting.
So, and I have seen that in retail spaces, so I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that. I mean, it'd be neat to walk into a Target or whatever and see Summer and Mara on the shelf.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think if they're going to do retailers, I suspect it'll be online retailers rather than physical ones. But
probably,
we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see. It looks like they.
Oh, they
are
did say it'll be on
hint-
Amazon too.
Oh, did they? I missed that.
Yeah. Someone asked,
Oh, okay.
where can we pre-order? And they said, we'll be sharing the links shortly. It depends on the country. It'll be
Ah,
on Amazon
yes.
too.
Okay, right. So they're going through retailer. Excellent. They also earlier 2 days ago, it looks like they hinted that there might be more information about it in September, in one of their tweets. So we will keep up on that and let you know what's happening.
That makes sense. That's when they're doing the Kickstarter for Ankora too. So
yes, September is going to be
that
busy.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Speaking of September going to be busy, Kitaria Fables is coming out on the 2nd of September. So I don't think we've talked about this game a huge amount, but it's they've announced they're releasing on the 2nd of September on PC, Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. And it's an action-adventure RPG farming game. Get all your words in there.
Yeah. That's all of the keywords that my filters pick up.
So yeah, it's
all of my interests.
They're doing a physical version as well, but I don't think there's a collector's edition or anything. It's just kind of standard physical version. And yeah, I mean, it looks like a nice game. I'm probably gonna buy it, I think, but we'll see. I need to balance budgets.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot coming out, and it's it's always. I feel like it's always either spring or fall for like farm games too. Is
yes,
the popular release windows.
Yeah,
it does look very cute though. It feels the art style feels very like World of Warcraft, which is like a good thing, like original World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which is like a good thing because that art style is very. I really enjoy that art style. Kind of like cartoony, medieval like fantasy. It feels very like chunky and I don't know. Like you can touch it.
Yeah. Well, it looks quite good. It is what it is. Next, we have some more information on some updates for Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town. Oh, those names are always such a mouthful.
Always.
1.0.6 is out, although I think it was out like a month ago, but recording times. This has improved visuals on a bunch of different things. You can now participate in the Egg Festival. Crazy idea. Because I think before it was literally just a bunch of people picking up eggs. Oh, that was fun.
I didn't know. So I said before we started recording that I've been behind on everything that's new with Pioneers of Olive Town.
Yeah.
And you said that there's been a lot. I didn't know that was part of this update, and that's so funny because when I did that, I was like, that's really weird that they kind of just. I like prepped myself and like braced for like, okay, I'm gonna try and figure out the optimum path
for. It is so funny.
This for next season and or for next year, and then you just did nothing. It was like
it was so disconcerting. I was like, did it just bug out or something?
Yeah, I was like, maybe they're implying that like it's the kids are doing the egg hunt.
Yeah.
And as an adult or a preteen or whatever, I'm just not involved.
I mean, maybe that's what they were doing, but either way, they've listened to people and they've added that in, so that's good.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's something they would have added
weird
in
thing
to an update if it weren't for something they were listening to people's feedback.
Right. And that seems like a lot of it, too. Like, a lot of their updates have been listening to people's feedback.
Definitely, yeah.
Even the, like, early updates to the makers and things like that were all based on, like, feedback that they got.
Yeah. And that was an incredible update, the maker stuff, which
Hmm.
I think is the biggest. Well, that and the loading times and the being able to actually walk outside of buildings without pressing A. Like these are kind of the biggest things and have made such a difference in playing the game.
Have they? I remember another big point of contention for players at the time was that there was, and something that they said they were working on fixing was um, the like portraits or like expression, like facial expressions and stuff
So let
to
me get to that in a minute.
indicate. Okay.
Because that is the next thing is that 1.0.7 is out in Japan. I don't think it's out
Uh
here
huh.
yet, but it is coming soon. And that does include the chat camera setting. And so if you have that turned on, I don't know whether it's on by default or not, but basically that will um, zoom in on the person you're talking to. So it's
Oh,
not a
interesting.
portrait, but it will zoom in and they'll have, better facial expressions. So yeah, that's it's kind of like the chat portraits, but it's actually zooming into their in-game model rather than
Sure.
having separate portraits.
Which does have expressions and stuff,
Exactly.
which is
So
really what the whole point of that was. The whole point of that
yeah,
complaint was.
yeah. So we don't have it yet. It's coming out at the end of the month. It's out in Japan, but it's coming out at the end of the month elsewhere.
Sure.
And that's kind of the biggest thing with that. There's a few other things like there's when you develop town facilities, it will show the before and then the after rather than just the after. And that's fine. I didn't really care about that, but fine, whatever. I can see how that's an improvement. Um,
Yeah.
and also some bug fixes. They have also
I'm
explicitly said they've added expressions to the faces during conversations. So it's the combination of zooming in on their face and having expressions on the models during conversations that hopefully will be good enough to replace chat portraits. I don't think that people are specifically wedded to those. They just wanted some feedback on
right.
on
Something
player.
that indicated
Exactly.
what mood you were getting from the person.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Right.
we'll see. We'll see how it is. Hopefully, I can put some time into that once it's out and see how it actually feels.
I'm thoroughly impressed with how consistent they have been with taking feedback and
Yeah,
applying it. It's like
definitely.
unreal. Like I've this is not something that you see anymore. And not anymore. I don't want to be like, old man Micah. You don't see these companies listening to feedback anymore. I mean, just in general, I think even before, I this is
Yeah,
probably
many are
one of the
dreadful at it.
most like
Yeah,
supported non multi like MMO or like multiplayer game.
yeah. I think a lot of indies are quite good
Support.
at it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, certainly big companies are quite often just ignore you and go, well,
Right.
you can stop buying it if you want, but you're not going to, are you? Whereas
Yeah.
they've actually gone, no, fine, we'll, and they've not just kind of gone, oh, we'll just do exactly what you say. They've actually kind of taken feedback and decided how they want to, because they obviously wanted to move away from chat portraits. Like that's clearly they
Hmm.
don't want to do that. And they've been kind of trying to think of how they can do expression while not doing that. They want it to become much more 3D and kind of try to take you out of the game less. And I guess chat portraits would do that. You kind of it's more obvious that this is not a game. This is not real life, right? Whereas the
Sure.
camera zooming in and you're seeing their actual face during the conversation can feel much more realistic to them. Not that they want to make it like, oh, this is a photorealistic game or whatever, but um,
Yeah.
they clearly wanting to move to more towards kind of just having things in the game rather than additional things, and that's fine. I don't think anyone's wedded to an individual particular way to solve a problem. If we wanted to
Sure.
keep playing the exact same game, we could do. We want
Right.
new games with new ideas, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I obviously I don't mind. I'm a very big fan of JRPGs, and there
Yeah,
are a lot of portraits
yeah.
in conversation. So I'm kind of used to it, especially
Oh
with
yeah. I'm not
Story
saying
of
it's
Seasons or Harvest Moon or whatever.
yeah. I'm not saying it's
So
bad. I just like that they're trying new things.
oh yeah, totally. It just seems like such a simple thing that they like it's interesting that they're trying to get to change it because it's such a like kind of like ingrained thing. But yeah, I like the idea of it shifting to, you know, like 3D. I'm sure it's, as far as like time and money goes, it's probably much cheaper as well to change facial expressions on a 3D model than it is to have someone illustrate multiple expression iterations of every single character that you can interact
10
with.
different
That
portraits
has,
for every character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works.
Seems like they have said later this month for 1.0.7.
Yeah. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Very
we'll
cool.
See.
I would think, and there is, sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of you with all of this, these questions about this, but there is a new, the new expansion is out as well.
Yes. So we're at the 4th expansion, although it should be noted that one of the expansions was basically just some clothes. So we're at the 4th one now, and that includes the legendary sprite dance, which is just a kind of new quest with the sprites, and to do with kind of, I think they want to hold a festival or something, and I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah, there's a new quest with the sprites, which sounds fun because I like the sprite.
Yeah,
I think there's another one coming out in August as well.
I didn't get to. Yes, it says Twilight Isle expansion pack, Part 5, August 2021.
There we go.
They actually have a pretty comprehensive list of what the expansion pass has. Part 1.
Oh, that's the last
Animal
one.
Attire.
The next one.
Oh, it is the last one. Yeah.
Sad.
And then the Olive Town Mystery Files was part of Part 1, which I was like, as a fan of.
Oh yes,
true crime and like crime drama stuff. I was like, oh, this sounds fun.
Yeah.
But I never got around to it. So I think when I 2 of the games that I'm working on in my backlog right now are The World Ends With You and the the last few like post game things for Final Fantasy 14. And when I finish those, I think I'm just gonna go all in on this so that I can experience a lot of this stuff.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, we should have the last expansion and the 1.0.7 update. And so, if you've not really played it since the kind of base game, then it's that sounds like a really good time to get in because you've got like 3 new areas, a couple of new quests, loads of new clothes, and obviously all of the quality of life improvements.
Right.
It's like a new game,
Yeah.
So
and there's, what is it? By the time that comes out, 6 marriage candidates too. 6 new marriage candidates.
Do you want? Yes. Yeah, so each new area was 4 characters, 2 of whom are marriage candidates.
This is awesome.
And I will
a lot of content.
Always be sad about who they chose for the Trio of Towns character.
Oh no.
I know. None of my favorites.
Don't tell me, because
I can't remember exactly who it is, but my favorites weren't in. I don't think they've officially announced them, but we basically know who they are because they showed silhouettes of them.
I see.
There's, I think, 1 from each of the areas in Trio of Towns. I can't. Oh man, I was so into that game and I knew everybody, and now I've forgotten everyone.
Oh, I see. I see the silhouettes now. I was trying to find the price for the expansion pass because I don't remember what it was.
So it is. It's £18. I suspect probably $20 for everything.
Yeah, that's
something like that. Have you already bought it?
That sounds probably right. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I presume you bought the bundle at the beginning, the reduced bundle.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that seems like a pretty good expansion pass for.
It's pretty good.
5 separate parts over the course of the year. It's pretty nice.
Right. So the one character they chose for it was based on like kind of Pacific Islander type thing, wasn't it?
Oh, sure.
Anyway, the one they chose for that was Ludus. And he's fine, right? But I really wanted Iluka. Iluka is my favorite character from that game, and it's annoying that they chose so few. I know putting all the characters in the game is a lot of work, right? But put the characters I want in. I know they can't put them all in. It's a lot because you know they chose multiple games. They can't just have all of the characters from all the games in it. But I'd pay for it. I'd pay more money to get Iluka in the game. You know?
Yeah, I didn't see. So is that the marriage candidate? One of the marriage candidates?
Ludus is one of the marriage candidates. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember who
And
the other one is.
So it's different. Okay, so it's from different towns. Because I saw that there were 4 silhouettes. I just didn't know.
Yeah, so because obviously there's the 3 different towns in Trio of Towns.
Mhm.
There's I think they've chosen one from each of the towns and then an extra one
see.
from the first, I think.
Okay.
But I can't.
But only 2 of
remember.
them are marriage candidates.
Only
of
2
the
of them
4.
are, yeah. And Ludus is
Interesting.
one of the 2 marriage candidates.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be interesting to at least explore the new areas. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
The other one is Lisette. There we go. I got there in the end. Lisette is the other marriage candidate.
Oh, I see.
She's from the kind of Western style town.
Okay.
And the other 2 characters I can't see because that website's down. No one seems to care about them because you can't marry them. That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, so yeah, Ludus and Lisette, they're the 2 marriage candidates from Trio of Towns. Which this is the only one I actually care about because that's the only game out of the 3 that they're bringing people from that I've properly played.
Yeah, I'm doing comparisons, or I'm trying at least, based on the
DLC
the
characters.
silhouettes.
Oh, so it looks like the other 2 characters are Tigre,
yeah,
and Moria. Moria, I think, is from the Japanese style town, and Tigre, I think, comes in like halfway through the game. He's like away for a bunch of it and then appears back as part of the story, I think. If I'm remembering that correctly. It's been a while. Anyway, he's young, so of course he's not a marriage candidate.
Yeah. And the other character is very old, I guess.
Yes.
Also not a marriage candidate.
Yeah. But there we go. My point was just give me more.
Right.
Look, I just let's be honest, I just want Iluka, right? That's all I care about from Trio of Towns. I might have to boot up Trio of Towns again to continue that. Right. Anyway, that's probably enough time talking about Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town. It'll be interesting to see how much of that actually makes it into the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next, we have an update for Animal Crossing. Shock. I mean, it just has new fireworks and new seasonal updates. There's not much in it.
I actually was shocked.
But the big news is they have teased another update coming out later this year. And my thinking is it must be a reasonably big update because they wouldn't tease it otherwise.
Right. They wouldn't tease it. And also the updates went from like monthly to a screeching halt pretty much.
Yeah. We basically had like one at the beginning of this year, and then this one in the end of July was the next one.
Yes.
It's like nearly 7 months between them.
We had, I think this is the first update since the Mario.
Oh, the Mario one. I forgot about that. Yes,
update,
of course.
Which was in March. So not like, but still we went from monthly to like 3 or 4 months of nothing. And I don't know at what point it becomes like spoilers, if it's like, I mean, I won't say anything, but there were data mine leaks. Like,
we've talked about them on the podcast before. I think it's fine to mention them again. You're
going to
talk about Brewster, aren't you?
Specifics.
Yeah.
I mean, there were things that were implied, like in those updates, like Brewster was part of it. There was like cooking was like a thing that was supposed to happen, and with that there was like a seafood option for like collection for like creatures that would go into seafood.
The interesting thing as well is that also hinted about more farming, and this was before we got the pumpkins, and so we got the pumpkins and went, oh, they're releasing farming, and they literally just released the pumpkins, and that was really weird.
Yeah,
because there is data in there for like potatoes and stuff like that, so that implies that presumably will be coming. I would hope.
And then Brewster, and there was a whole thing about how like there was going to be a like cafe, gift shop, whatever part of the museum. Basically, there was, and then another upgrade to the Nooks. Nooks
Cranny.
nook cranny, which makes, I mean, I think we all kind of expected that because historically there have been like multiple upgrades to the
Yeah.
the Nook shop over time, and we got one and then nothing.
Yeah.
So I would guess probably that the later this year update is going to be pretty big, or maybe like a definitive version,
Yeah.
and they'll re-release it.
Oh, interesting.
They did that, with New Leaf. They had the Welcome Amiibo update, which was like a
Interesting.
huge update, and then
Yeah.
they re-released it as like its own retail copy that had it all, everything
Yeah.
in it.
I do wonder whether this is kind of all happened because we've talked about this on the podcast before, so I don't want to belabor it, but I feel a little bit like they were wanting to have more frequent updates, and they managed it for a while, and they needed to do some of it because they had all the seasonal stuff to get in right in the first year, which I bet they were regretting not having that already for release. But then they kind of wanted to have more in a release rather than the smaller releases. I suspect
Sure.
they were probably getting annoyed with people complaining about this feature not existing and that feature not existing whenever they released any update. And so went, you know what, let's do kind of a bigger one. And so we'll have more features together and release it later. And yeah, sure, they'll still complain, but at least they won't be like complaining all the time because we won't be constantly releasing versions. Because,
Right.
the releasing lots of little versions is good and bad. It's good because it keeps people talking about the game and keeps people playing the game. But it's bad because it keeps people talking about the game.
Right.
And when they have negative things to say about the game, why is this missing? Why is that missing? That can, I imagine, get quite tedious to them.
Yeah, definitely. I would venture to guess too that I think that that's probably a part of it. I would guess also a big part of it is COVID. There was a big discussion around E3 this year about how we're currently in the
slump.
effects of COVID on the game industry, because they do everything so far in advance. Like, they're working on these things for so long ahead of time before release that we're now starting to finally feel the effects of what the like COVID slowdown caused on the game industry. So I would guess that a lot of this content too, and this like slowing down of updates, is probably partially due to
Definitely.
We didn't see that for like the first year of launch, but they probably had all of that pretty well established ahead of time, so that they really just kind of had to tweak things and then publish it. And now we're kind of at the point where we're seeing the effects of work from home and teams not being in the same space together and things like that.
Yeah. I'm going to say this update will come out in the beginning of November.
That seems like a pretty safe bet, yeah.
So
right around holiday season.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It'll push sales up for
sales.
Christmas, and also like the fact that they're talking about it means it's not next month, right? Like they wouldn't announce that and not give any info if it was like the next month, and so that leaves like September, October. I mean, I guess it could. Sorry, not September. It leaves October. I mean, it could be, but also like even if they want it to be, I bet it will slip a little bit. So I suspect November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we'll see. As usual, we'll bring it all to you as it comes, or probably up to 2 weeks late because we're a podcast. Next, we have two small updates for Ooblets. The first one is the Oobletiversary update, which adds party hats and a photo booth feature, but I mean, that's fun. So, yeah.
That's cute.
And
firework hats.
I mean,
It's like a cake with a firework candle on it, looks like.
They look like they're having a great time.
Yeah. There's a lot of dancing in this.
I mean, it's Ooblets. There's always a lot of dancing. It's kind of a core feature.
Right.
And the other update brings another Ooblet, Jama, which is only found on snowy days. So snowy days was added a couple of months ago as randomly the weather can be snowy even in the summer. It's obviously more frequent in the winter, but yeah, if it's snowy, you can find Jamma.
Very
It's just like a
cute.
little dude in a kind of bodysuit, cozy bodysuit type thing.
Yeah, it looks like a little kid that's all bundled
Yeah,
for the snow.
yeah,
When
yeah,
they're
like a
like so
toddler.
bundled that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can't put their arms down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Looks fun.
very cute.
My Time at Portia is now on iOS and Android, so that's come out.
Interesting.
It is like $8, I think, or $10, something like that. It's very reasonable price. $8. So yeah, if that's something you've been looking at playing and you're like, oh, I'd like it on my phone, then go for it.
I do see this has been like my go-to thing now, for mobile games, ever since I got the Monster Hunter Stories on mobile, and found out that it was not gamepad compatible. It's only touchscreen.
Ooh,
There is a comment in these replies to their tweet that says disappointed that the game is not gamepad compatible.
right.
So, I guess beware. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Make your
be
games
aware, at
gamepad
least,
compatible,
that,
developers. It's an accessibility thing.
it really is, and it's like
It's
feel
not
like
a
such a
difficult thing.
no-brainer at this point.
Yeah.
That
Do it.
especially if your game for every other platform that it's on has gamepad compatibility, then
Yep.
why wouldn't it? But who
Do it.
knows?
Also, there's another update for My Time at Portia, which is out on Steam, and I mean, I presume it's on the mobile versions as well, but they haven't said that, and it's coming to consoles soon. The main thing is that this adds a voiceover for a bunch of characters that didn't already have it. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yep. If you're still playing that game, there you go. Or if you like the game, I want to get back into it. Or if you haven't played it but you like the look of it, I'm not going to buy the game on mobile. I'm not going to play the update because I just don't like the game. So, but each to their own. We don't need to go over that
I
again.
enjoyed it for the time that I played of it, but yeah, it would be nice to see what the update when it comes to console, what that update looks like. But
Yeah, I feel like there's still a Switch update that hasn't actually been released. So they don't seem to be very quick at getting them out on consoles.
right.
Which is not great, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Garden Paws have announced that their Switch version is releasing on the 26th of August. So if you want to play a farming game it's like a cat, I think, is it? Yeah, it's a cat.
Yeah, it looks like you can be multiple. There's a raccoon.
Oh yeah, so there are. I didn't notice that.
There's like a
Fox, bunny, bear,
dragon,
dragon,
maybe? Something
cat.
with scales.
Yeah, they've got an actual list. I've noticed. Fox,
Oh, do
bunny,
they?
bear, dragon, cat, bird, badger, chipmunk, horse, and dog.
Got it. I'm over here trying to.
I mean, why would you do anything other than
identify
dragon?
based on the screenshots. Yeah, like the raccoon is pretty cute looking. The dragon isn't like,
Oh, he's so spiky.
Yeah, it's very spiky and scaly. It
So
kind of looks like a
spiky.
fish. The raccoon is real cute though.
There's also a lot of there are over 400 skins for the character as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
It looks
you can
cute.
get lots of colors. Yeah, I mean, this is just a kind of standard farming game, but with you can be a shopkeeper. There are quests, farming, fishing, animals, crafting. You know the drill. It's cute, right? You know if you want it or not.
It's interesting that you're an animal raising animals.
Yeah,
That's definitely something.
I don't think we should think about it too hard, should we?
Sure.
There are 2 games coming to Game Pass, Atomic Crops and Stardew Valley. So if you're a Game Pass person, there you go.
Stardew Valley.
Not much
and
really
Game
to
Pass.
say about that.
Yeah,
You know if you want it or not.
it's true.
Turnip Boy is getting a physical version for the Switch. It's coming on the 12th of November.
I love that all of these games that I love are getting physical versions, but it also kind of breaks my heart a little bit that there wasn't a physical version to begin with.
I know.
But,
Littlewood is getting a physical version for the
Oh,
Switch
no.
as well. But I'm very sorry to say it's already sold out.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better, actually.
You can't buy it. Sorry. They've already sold out their 4,000 copies.
That's quite a rare. It's being distributed by Super Rare Games, so
Yeah.
limited to 4,000 copies makes it
they seem
actually a
to
super rare game.
they seem to do that. So if you go to their list of Switch games, it's all like 2,000, 4,000, 3,000, 5,000 copies of the games.
Yeah,
Really, really interestingly limited. So
that's
sorry,
neat,
it's too late.
but it's too late. Yeah.
Spiritfarer is also getting a physical version for Switch and PS4. It's out now, August 3rd. Looks like it's out now. And they have a postcard set. You can get a soundtrack and a digital art book with it as well. Well, it just comes.
Now.
It is available now. You can go buy it for
Interesting.
£30 here. I don't know what it is in America.
It is $35.
$35
USD. It takes you to a Best Buy or a GameStop or an Amazon link. So it's, I'm assuming not in store. Probably.
Presumably.
No, it is in store.
Oh, is it?
I could pick it up today in an hour.
Oh no.
I mean, I won't, but
okay, good.
But it's neat that it's, they're distributing in store too, not just online.
Yes, I think it's in game stores in the UK as well.
Yeah, it's here is GameStop, Best Buy, and Amazon. So I think and GameStop are like the same, technically the same company, right?
No, they're not. They're yeah. They tried to open GameStop in the UK, but it didn't really. No, Game are a separate company.
Okay.
I can't remember. They're owned by somebody. I think we had two physical game stores in the UK. We had Game and there was something else that was very similarly named. It was like, it wasn't Game Shop or GameStop, but it was something similar to those. And you're just like, oh goodness me. And
I
they
know
merged.
That there are EB Games somewhere.
Yeah.
Canada, Australia, it looks like.
Yeah, they're in. Let's see. Oh, they're owned by.
Yeah, they all got.
They're owned by Fraser's Group, which is they're just a bunch of they do House of Frasers and stuff in the UK. It's not literally nothing that you will have heard of in America.
Sure. Yeah, and EB Games is owned by GameStop. Is
Game Station. That's the other one.
Game Station.
Yeah, so we had Game and Game Station, and they merged to just become Game.
Yeah, GameStop has. I mean, we had. Not that we need to get into the whole history of GameStop, but we had like 5 different game retailers at one point, and GameStop absorbed all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So GameStop is pretty much our only, in the U.S. at least, our non-independent games retailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, places here, like, presumably we have a bunch of like supermarkets that sell games as well, but yeah, Game is our chain game-specific shop.
Yeah.
And I hate their name. It's so bad. Game. It just asks to be like literally at the top of the Wikipedia page it says not to be confused with GameStop. Like at least with games and you go into GameStop and it says not to be confused with GameSpot, which is a video game website. Just like, oh my word, would you get better names, people? Come on. Can we not do better than this?
One of the retailers that was absorbed by GameStop was Funcoland. And that was like my favorite. It's just, it rolls off the tongue. It's like nice. It's, Funcoland. It sounds like fun. GameStop feels very, I don't know, clean. I don't know.
Clinical,
yeah. They're also technically a pawn shop, so they all have to have pawn licenses.
Fair enough. I can buy it in Edinburgh in game, so they do have them physically here.
Go.
Can't get it in Dunfermline. The Dunfermline one doesn't have any copies, but Edinburgh does. So, and Kirkcaldy does. So, I'm not going to. I'm going to try so hard not to. We've also got information about 2 indie games coming to Switch. These were announced in the indie showcase. That's 100 Days, which is a game about making wine, and Islanders, which is like a city builder but with islands.
Okay. I had to look at 100 Days again because I thought I like completely glossed over this. I was like, I don't remember anything about winemaking. But yeah, I saw the art is very cool. I saw the like style of game and I think I like kind of mentally checked out.
Oh right, yeah. I think I own 100 Days on PC, which is annoying because I don't want to play it on PC.
That's how it always.
Thankfully, I don't have Islanders yet. I've been just not buying it yet, and it's only £5, so I will definitely be buying that game.
Islanders also looks has very good art style, but yeah,
I love it. I love it.
looks
It's one of those games that manages to be like low poly, but still absolutely gorgeous. Like, it doesn't look janky. It just looks
right.
so nice.
It's that lighting.
Yeah,
It's the key
and the colors,
to good low poly. Yeah,
so good.
looks very good.
So yeah, Islanders is out now. 100 Days comes out winter this year, whatever that means. Winter 2021.
Later this year,
Yeah, well, presumably
November.
But like, the problem with winter is it spans 2 years, right? So
Right.
would January be winter 2021? It's not winter 2022. It's not spring 2022. What is it?
I don't know. I like when companies stick to the like Q,
Yeah.
like the quarter,
I like it as
quarterly,
well.
Q1, Q2.
Or just don't tell me.
Much easier to.
Don't
Yeah.
tell me until you know. Like, say
Yeah.
late 2021 or early 2022, right? Just tell me the date when you know the date. Don't hint too much. Winter is just so vague.
That did actually confuse. That reminds me. Recently, there was I think with Attack on Titan, they had there was like they had the final season, but the second part of the final they announced was winter 2022, but it actually turned out that it was like January.
Yeah.
So in my I initially
confusing.
was like, winter 2022 is so far away, and then someone was like, no, they mean January 2022. And I was like, okay, well, hold on, because that's
the worst.
a completely different.
Yeah, just say Q1 then.
Yeah.
Or January.
Right.
Like, what's wrong?
Or
if you know it's
just say
January, just say it's January. Goodness me.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. There's also 5. Dear goodness, I can't believe I'm shoving all this into this episode. 5 new games that I've come across over the last month. Some of them are out, some of them are not out. We probably don't need to talk about them too much, unless you've got something specific that's interesting about it. But I thought I would mention them, and I'll stick them in my tracker and keep you up to date when new stuff happens. The first one is Harvest Days. This is coming to Kickstarter on the 31st of August. It is an open world, open-ended country life RPG.
Open world, open-ended.
Yeah.
So like sandbox?
Sandboxy, generated, like, what's the word? Programmatically generated world.
RNG, like randomly generated.
Yeah.
What's the term? Oh boy.
Yeah, there is a term. I can't remember.
God, it's on the tip of my tongue too.
It's not programmatically generated. That's
procedurally generated.
Procedurally yes, that's it.
That's it.
It's got the usuals. It's in. I don't know whether I like the look of it or not.
Yeah, I'm very undecided on it too. It feels very bland, I guess.
Yeah. I don't hate it, but yeah, I look at it going, I mean, would I spend time on this game? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on my wish list. I'll look at the Kickstarter when it launches. But, we'll see.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff happening the next couple of months. You're going to have to do a lot of work to get my money.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it just feels very just from the like very minimal footage they show their like video on Twitter, it feels very I really don't want to sound rude when I say this, but it feels very like amateur game engine.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think you're not being rude. It's like, we're honest about how we feel about games, because otherwise how will people know when we're being truthful?
It's true. Just feel it stings a little bit more when you're talking about like indie games, I guess. Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's just not something that you or I would necessarily want to play.
Right. Yeah. I think it will depend on, like price tag and things like that. Like all that
definitely.
If you're looking at like a $30 game, I don't know. But if I saw it in the eShop for like $9 or something, then I would be like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It might be one that I wait to release to buy.
Sure.
We'll see. Because I think the problem with Kickstarters is I have to be really excited about them to like drop money 3 years before I'm going to get the game,
Right. Yep. Yeah.
We'll see.
And if it's not like a 2D, like pixel
Yeah.
art or like really beautiful like illustrated whatever. Like if it's a 3D game, now I feel like it has to have like a really unique
Yeah.
style in order to grab me, and I just feel like
Yeah.
it's very bland.
Yeah. I agree. Speaking of 2D pixel art, Research Story.
Which looks great.
Uh yeah. Like I like to just say their blurbs if they've got a good blurb, so we'll go with this one. Set out to discover and record plants and creatures for the Violet Archive, grow crops, tame animals, and build the perfect farm. Forge friendships along the way as you begin your life as a researcher. So this one looks like its niches. You're discovering things as well as just kind of growing things. So it sounds like there might be kind of mutations and stuff like that. And also there is a little GIF that looks like you're discovering animals as well. There was like a cat with like a plant on its head.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, this looks great fun.
Very cute. The
Yeah.
the pixel art reminds me a lot of Littlewood, which I love.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the like kind of tiny blocky like thick outline
Yeah.
style that Littlewood had. And the character art is very well done and very cute.
Yeah. I don't think we have any information about when this is coming out, or I don't think it's doing a Kickstarter. It's just here, this is a thing, and we're making it, which is fine.
It's
I'm
got a
fine with
Steam
that.
page.
It does have a Steam
And
page. You
that's
can go
about
wishlist it. I have wishlist.
I'm reading in the comments that the soundtrack is very soothing and you can listen to it somewhere. Oh yeah, trailer soundtrack by Tomas Palazzi.
Nice.
It's in the tweet though.
The tweet will be in the show notes, as usual. Next, we have Luna's Fishing Garden. This game is out now on Steam. I'll blurb this one as well. Cassie wakes up on an island that belongs to Luna, a mysterious fox spirit. A few minutes later, she is tasked with creating the biggest garden ever. So this is kind of based around fishing primarily, but there's farming, and you kind of bring in animals through your farming and fishing. And you gather stuff, and there's trading with the fox spirit or multiple spirits, it looks like. It's 2D side-scrolling game, I think, which is interesting. I like the look of it.
It's a very unique looking game.
Yeah.
Not just in like art style or anything, but the general gameplay.
Yeah. It looks interesting. Pardon my yawn there. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too. We're both very tired. I've been like trying to like yawn off mic.
I was so tired I didn't even realize I was doing it. It's all right. We're nearly there. Yeah, that one's out now on Steam. I said that already.
Cute. I'm again, gonna wait till there's inevitably a Switch release of it, but I'm a big fan of like fishing games. It's not like your standard like pro bass fishing or anything. It's got to be like I don't know, like a unique type of fishing game.
Yeah.
But like River King and things like that are always very enjoyable. And any game that has like fishing mini games in it, I'm always in for that.
Yeah.
So I would love to try it, but I'll wait for Switch release.
Cheeky Chooks. There are chickens in this game. There's a waffle chicken. There are a lot of chickens in this game.
Interesting.
It's just a chicken that looks like a waffle. This is free. This game is free. It doesn't even have in-app purchases. It's available on Steam and Android and iOS. And you're ranching chickens. You're a chicken rancher. I don't know what the verb would be. You're growing chickens. You're farming them, maybe?
I guess so, yeah.
You're making a big
wild.
chicken farm, right? Like,
Yeah.
it looks like it gets really big as well. Like it grows as you earn more.
A whole village of grown chickens.
And there are lots and lots of styles.
There really are. This reminded me, you can feel free to leave this in or cut this out. I found a game recently that I didn't know existed on the Switch called Tales of Jungarian Hamster. And it's like I got to give credit to my friend Mike Choi, who I saw him playing it through my friends list, and I was like, what is this game? I've never heard of this. And I saw the picture was the like icon was a hamster, and I went to the eShop, and it's a game where you like get and breed and take care of hamsters. It's like Nintendogs but with hamsters.
Oh my word.
And it's like $10. It's super cute. And there's like a bunch of different styles of hamsters, which is what made me think of this. There's one that's like a pancake hamster, and it's got like a little pat of butter and syrup on it and stuff. It is the cutest thing I have ever played. It's super cute. All like the movements and the animations and everything for the hamsters, very like realistic. And they even have a you can change out like the flooring and decorate the cage and everything. It's, you know, there's not an actual cage, but there's like a confined area, and you can get flooring that looks like a farm, so you can like put your like house, your little farmhouse, and like plant your little decorate it to look like things are growing in the farm and stuff. It's very cute. It's like $10. Highly recommend it.
Well, there you go. So you can have chickens or hamsters, or both.
Or both, yeah.
Yeah.
You can have a waffle chicken and a pancake hamster.
Why not? Why not? And finally, we've got Haven Park, which is out now on Steam. And this is a game about building campsites.
It's out on Switch too, is it not? Or is it coming to Switch, maybe?
Oh, I missed that.
I've seen it
It
in
is.
the eShop.
It is. You are correct. It is available now on Switch as well. I have failed. I'm a failure.
How could you?
I know.
How could you do this?
Shocking.
Yeah, I remember seeing this in the eShop. But weirdly, their tweet says it's out now. Doesn't mention Switch at all, and it just links to the Steam page.
That's why I got confused, I guess.
Yeah. So it's not your fault.
There we go. You're building campsites.
And your
It's interesting.
little bird,
Little
baby chick.
chick.
I don't know,
it looks
very
like a baby
cute.
chick. Yeah.
See, this is when I say like if it's a 3D game, it's got to have a unique style. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's very tilt shifted kind of.
Yes.
Looks like it's models or miniature. Very cute.
Yeah. It looks like it's permanently sunset as well.
Yeah.
I know it's not. It
hour.
looks like it does have the daytime, but like all of their pictures are of golden hour, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It does look neat.
I think that's all the news. I mean, it's a lot of news, but I think we've done it. I think we managed
did it. That was a lot of news.
Yeah, good fun. Thank you, Micah, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
It's always fun to have you. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Micah the Brave, MICAH. And I sometimes when I have time or I feel like it on Twitch with the same username.
When your internet
you can watch me either play Picross or build a model or try to catch up on my backlog.
You can follow me on Twitter at thescottbot, where I moan about things mostly. Not that I'm trying to convince people not to follow me, obviously. Come follow me. I'm exciting.
Yeah, come on, sell yourself.
I complain about politicians quite a bit.
As you should.
You can follow the podcast on Twitter. That does not have any politics. That is only farming games. At THSPod. I mean, I say there's no politics. Sometimes there is, right? Like it's much less local politics.
Sure.
It's not really politics. It's just, sometimes something stupid happens and it has to be.
Right.
You can email the podcast from our website, harvestseason.club, where you can also find links to other things, including our Patreon. If you subscribe to our Patreon, you can get access to the Greenhouse, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast. In the next episode, me and Micah will be talking about BB and Tina for some reason. I don't even know how this happened. It's not a farming game.
It's I don't know. It's got horses. There's horses on farms. That's a through line, right?
Yeah.
Enough of one.
We will talk about that for some period of time, hopefully not too long. and it'll be a wild ride. So go subscribe and listen to it. I think that's everything. Thank you all for listening. We're caught up on the news. I'm sure there'll be some news as soon as I stop recording.
Of course.
There is some news. The Garden Story soundtrack is now up on Spotify.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you again, Micah, for joining me. And
yeah, thank you for having me.
Until next time, have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley, with support from our Pro Farmer level patrons, Kevin and Stuart. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode. Thanks for listening.